In this video, we're going to talk about travel-friendly guitar setups. Coming up. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ronquillo. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. I've been traveling with a guitar for a large part of my musical career. Actually, probably longer than that. Probably since I was a kid traveling to guitar camps and such. But some of you may know I stopped touring a few years ago, so traveling and bringing an instrument with me is a little bit different now. I don't have to travel with a guitar for my job or gig anymore, but I still like to bring something I can, noodle around with and keep my fingers in shape and kind of pass the time. So now that opens up the door to using a specific kind of guitar and a specific sort of gear. A travel-specific guitar and probably some sort of portable amplification device or headphone amp. And I wanted to show you what I've currently designated as my travel guitar rig setup. So over the years, I've tried many different travel-friendly guitars. And with that experience, I kind of figured out what I liked and didn't like in a travel guitar. So basically, it has to be small and light. You see, when you're flying with a regular size guitar in a gig bag or a case, you run the risk of having issues bringing it on the plane, fitting it in the overhead bin, or having to check your precious instrument. Believe me, I know.
Get your puppy little paws off of my bag.
And with smaller instruments like violins or ukuleles or like a compact headless guitar, you almost never have that problem. I know when I was flying all over the world with a headless guitar, it was never an issue. I got on the plane, no flight attendants gave me any trouble.
If it was 3 bags, it would be the same thing, sir.
And number 2, it has to be comfortable to play. I want to enjoy playing the guitar. There are many travel guitar designs that are just simple planks of wood that you either have to play with a guitar strap or attach some sort of leg rest and arm rest to play it sitting down comfortably. Personally, I'd prefer a design that was more like a regular guitar without any attachments and all that stuff. I want to be able to pull it out of the gig bag and just start playing right away. And number 3, obviously it has to sound good. Now you can either get an acoustic or an electric travel guitar. Me personally, I prefer electric because of the certain style that I like to play and the way I like to practice. I like to bend strings and sometimes play some hard rock metal riffs, which now leads me to the amp side of the equation. Because I want to enjoy playing, I like to have the option of different sounds, clean and dirty, maybe some effects. Now remember, this is purely for my own pleasure. I don't need to pick out specific gear for the gig or a show. It's just me jamming by myself. So the guitar that I selected is this one from Traveler Guitar. It's the LTD EC-1, and I'll tell you why I chose this specific one. So I've actually owned a Traveler guitar in the past. When I was touring with Ricky Martin, I bought a Traveler guitar so I could bring it on the bus in my hotel room and just practice. It worked well, but it was one of the designs that had the attachments that I already told you that I don't really like. So this particular model, doesn't require any attachments. Now the body shape as well as the inlays may look familiar to you, and that's because this is like a collaborative design between Traveler guitar and ESP. So this is like a mini version of an ESP LTD Eclipse, their single cut model. So it sits on my leg pretty comfortably. I don't need any strap or extra attachments. The scale length is a full 24.75 inch scale, so it's like a standard Gibson scale. Although it does feel smaller, and I think it's because everything else is condensed. Now, one thing, if you haven't played a travel guitar, is the weight distribution is slightly weird because all of the mass and the hardware that was up here is now transferred to the body side. The neck feels almost weightless, which I really notice when I'm trying to play fast or kind of do these big bends. It moves a little bit more than usual. But it's not a big deal though, it's just something to get comfortable with. So obviously it's a headless design, there's no headstock. Which cuts down obviously on the length of the guitar. So the ball end of the string sits at the neck end, which would be where the headstock would go. The strings go all the way down across what appears to be just a typical kind of Gibson style bridge. I believe the saddles might be roller saddles, which might help with the way that it's designed. The string goes through the butt of the body And you'll see it goes to the tuners, which are on the back side of the guitar. These are actually locking tuners, which are pretty great. And then you can actually physically tune from the top of the guitar, which has turned out to be fairly convenient, you know? You don't have to go reach to any other part of the guitar. It's right there by your fingers. Now, one of the coolest features of this is you can either plug it into whatever rig you want with the normal 1/4-inch jack, or you can use the onboard amp with just a set of headphones. And there's actually 4 different settings, 2 clean and 2 distorted tones that you switch simply by pressing the tone knob. There's also an aux-in jack that you can plug in your phone and jam with any backing tracks that you might have on there. You'll notice that there's also 2 battery compartments in the back. You've got 2 AA which power the onboard amp, and then you've got a 9-volt battery which is for the active pickup. Now this is an ESP designed active humbucker. So aesthetically, this may be geared towards more rock and metal types of people, but I've managed to get some nice bluesy tones out of it as well. Here's how the guitar sounds plugged into my normal rig. Now, as far as the amplification side of this rig goes, oh, look at that. There's like a nice little hanger. Obviously, you don't need to use anything else because the guitar has an onboard amp. But if you're like me and like different tonal options and additional effects, then there's a few things that I like to use. If you've seen my video about the Rockman headphone amp from the 80s, you know that I'm obsessed with this thing. It's basically like 80s sounds in a box. Super fun to play around with, but it's also kind of hard to find used and somewhat of a delicate vintage piece. I mean, it's just plastic. So it's something I wouldn't necessarily risk traveling with. So I have 2 modern options that I like and for different situations. Now, if I just want something to jam by myself and not disturb others, then you can't beat the Boss Waza headphones. Now, I did a demo of these a while back, which I'll link up right here. But I mean, these are super convenient, very compact. You've got the Bluetooth connectivity with your smartphone. There's no cables. This plugs into your guitar and it transmits wirelessly to your headphones, which have, you know, a bunch of onboard sounds, and you can switch more sounds when you have the app. Go check out my demo video if you want to hear this. My other option, if I want something more amp-like, is this Yamaha THR5, which I believe is the smallest in the whole Yamaha THR line. This is a 10-watt modeling combo amp, runs on either AC power or it can run off of 8 AA batteries. It also has a headphone jack and an aux input, so you can also jam with tracks. And with this size, I can easily fit it in luggage, and it's not super heavy, but it's definitely portable enough to fly with. I'd probably bring this like on a camping trip or a road trip, and I'll let you hear a little bit of what this sounds like with the guitar. So there you have it, my ultimate travel guitar rig. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, as well as if you have any other gear options for travel-friendly setups. All right guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click that thumbs up. Feel free to share this video with your friends, family, and social network. If you'd like to see more videos like this, guitar lessons and gear demos, make sure you click the subscribe button. Thanks again for watching. I'm RJ Ronquillo, and I'll see you in the next video.